What if I told you that one player has completely changed the game for the WNBA? Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, drawing massive crowds and breaking records every time she steps on the court. But despite her historic impact, she's still not getting paid what she's worth. Let's explore how this superstar is reshaping the future of the WNBA. But before further proceeding in video, if you're new to the channel, please support by hit that subscribe button for more updates.
This girl is a superstar. I've been saying it for years. I keep telling everybody she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, college or pro. She is a superstar. I had the pleasure of doing an event with her on campus at Iowa a few months ago. I went there for my man Mark Shapiro, and I had a blast. She and I were on a panel together. She's a wonderful, wonderful young lady, incredibly poised. But this woman is the nation's leading scorer, averaging 31.5 points per game, shooting 40% from threes. She's hitting at least 5 3-pointers per game. She is elite. I'm telling y'all, wait till this girl gets to the WNBA. She is something special. Make no mistake about it. And I really, really, really am rooting for her. I really want to see.
The WNBA just ran face first into an undeniable reality. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie. She's the league's biggest moneymaker. With reports of her cashing in a jaw-dropping $10 million from contracts, endorsements, and bonuses, it's clear she's in a league of her own. But not everyone is thrilled. Some WNBA players aren't happy with the attention and cash flow heading her way. Is this frustration justified? Or are we witnessing a new kind of locker room rivalry fueled by envy?
It's because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sit out.
That's a possibility.
Before Caitlin Clark's name was on every sports headline, the WNBA was stuck in a fight for relevance. The league was pulling in roughly $200 million a year, decent, but far from the powerhouse status of other major sports. And let's be real, without NBA subsidies keeping things afloat, the WNBA would have been in serious trouble. Media coverage was hit or miss, sponsors weren't exactly knocking down doors, and the audience? Well, it wasn't growing fast enough. Then, Clark entered the conversation, and suddenly, everything changed.
Well, Caitlin Clark hugging her family, her brothers, Blake and Colin, her father Brent, her mother Ann, and heading to the podium. She is officially a member of the Indiana Fever after has decorated a collegiate career.
The numbers don't lie. Before Clark arrived, the WNBA was struggling to make waves. Game attendance hovered around a modest 6,500 per matchup. Merch sales barely moved the needle, and even the finals had trouble pulling in over 1 million viewers. Players? Most were earning max salaries capped at $240,000 a year, with only a lucky few landing endorsement deals worth talking about. It wasn't just a tough market, it was survival mode. But then, the league got its game changer. The WNBA wasn't just struggling, it was stuck. Then, Caitlin Clark walked in, and suddenly, the entire landscape shifted. The moment she declared for the draft, numbers shot through the roof. The WNBA draft viewership? A record-breaking 2.45 million, the most in history. Ticket sales for the Indiana Fever? Up by over 400%, with their home openers selling out in record time. Even road games featuring Clark became sellouts, turning her into a traveling superstar. But it didn't stop there. Other WNBA teams saw a windfall just by having her on their schedule. Clark's jersey sales? Through the roof, making her the best-selling rookie in league history. And the biggest shocker? The Indiana Fever's preseason game against the Dallas Wings pulled in more viewers than NBA playoff games. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she flipped the entire script. For years, the WNBA has struggled. Low ratings, empty arenas, lukewarm sponsorship deals. Then Caitlin Clark arrived, and suddenly, everything changed. Every metric the league has fought to improve? She flipped the script overnight. But instead of celebrating this massive shift, some players are frustrated. They question why Caitlin is getting so much attention, why she's making more off endorsements than they are after years in the league. But let's be honest, Caitlin Clark is the reason WNBA salaries might finally rise. She's not taking money from anyone, she's bringing it in. Teams are already seeing the payday. Some have raked in enough cash to renovate their facilities, upgrade travel to charter flights and private jets, and hand out bonuses that never existed before. Sponsors who barely gave the league a second thought are now writing checks. Networks are paying more for broadcast rights because people want to watch her. She's not just growing the WNBA, she's carrying it. And yet, despite all of this, the league expects her to play for a rookie salary of just $75,000 a year, less than some people make sitting behind a desk. Meanwhile, Aya Wilson, a veteran and one of the best in the game, earns around $240,000, yet she's never generated the kind of buzz Caitlin Clark has. Caitlin is the biggest draw in WNBA history, and she's getting paid pennies compared to the money she's bringing in. Still, some players and media voices refuse to give her credit. They've called her overrated. They claim she only gets this level of attention because she's white. But if race were the reason, why didn't the WNBA explode when Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, or Sabrina Ionescu were in their primes? They were all incredible, all white, yet none of them shook the league like this. So why is Caitlin Clark different? Because her game is electric. She pulls up from the logo and drains shots like they're layups. Her court vision is insane. She makes passes that shouldn't even be possible. Every time she plays, she does something that makes people stop and say, "Did that really just happen?" The numbers don't lie. When Caitlin Clark plays, ratings skyrocket. When she's on the schedule, tickets sell out. When she's in the conversation, social media explodes. She's not just a great player, she's a movement. And it goes beyond basketball. She showed up to a 7 a.m. Pro-Am golf event, and the crowd was massive just to see her. Not to watch her play, just to be in her presence. This isn't normal. This isn't just sports fame. This is cultural impact on another level. Meanwhile, some players who bring nothing but drama are demanding higher pay. Take Angel Reese. She's built a reputation on trash talk and controversy, yet she thinks she deserves a raise? If anyone in this league deserves a bigger paycheck, it's Caitlin Clark. Without her, the WNBA wouldn't even be having these conversations about increased pay. Without her, there wouldn't be this sudden explosion of interest. Without her, women's basketball wouldn't be making the leap it's making right now. She's not just a rookie. She's the most important thing to ever happen to the WNBA. And it's time the league started paying her like it. Caitlin Clark has faced doubt, dismissal, and discrediting at every turn, yet the undeniable truth remains, she is the biggest star the WNBA has ever seen. She's not just an incredible player, she's a phenomenon, a game changer, a force that is rewriting the very fabric of women's basketball. She's shattering attendance records, captivating new fans, and injecting millions into a league that has struggled for years to gain mainstream attention. From the moment she set foot on the court as a freshman at Iowa, Caitlin Clark was different. You don't just guard her at the three-point line. You better start before she even crosses half-court. Defenders are forced to pick her up from nearly 30 feet out, and yet, she still finds a way to sink impossible shots with machine-like precision. And it's not just about her scoring. Her presence alone is shifting the economics of the WNBA. Before Clark, WNBA jersey sales were practically an afterthought. Now, they're flying off shelves. Before Clark, WNBA games struggled to fill seats. Now, tickets to her games are being sold at NBA-level prices. Before Clark, the league fought for relevancy. Now, sponsors are lining up, eager to capitalize on the momentum she's created. Despite her undeniable impact, her paycheck doesn't reflect it. While her contributions to the league are unprecedented, her salary pales in comparison to even the most forgettable bench players in the NBA. Fortunately, Nike recognized her value, offering her a lucrative $28 million contract over 8 years. But when you consider the revenue she's generating, even that number starts to look shockingly low. The truth is, Caitlin Clark is worth far more than what she's being paid, and the conversation shouldn't be about whether she deserves $10 million, it should be about why she isn't making even more. Other WNBA players are speaking up about salary disparities, with murmurs growing louder as the league's collective bargaining agreement, CBA, approaches renewal. Some veterans are acknowledging that future rookies may be in a position to earn more, thanks in large part to the trail Clark is blazing. But the reality remains, without her, the current surge in viewership, merchandise sales, and sponsorship deals wouldn't exist. The WNBA had 24 games this season that drew over 1 million viewers, and Caitlin Clark played in 18 of them. That's not a coincidence. That's the Caitlin Clark effect in action. And it doesn't stop at TV ratings. Game schedules are being altered to accommodate the demand to see her play. The Indiana Fever, her WNBA team, recently secured a groundbreaking national TV deal, with 41 out of their 44 games being nationally televised, the most in league history. Road games featuring Clark are selling out, with ticket prices reaching unheard-of levels. Major brands are scrambling to associate themselves with her name, recognizing the once-in-a-generation appeal she carries. This kind of exposure and revenue boost is unprecedented in the history of the WNBA, yet her paycheck remains a fraction of what an NBA reserve player makes in a single week. Even rival coaches can't deny her greatness. When teams face Caitlin Clark, the strategy is simple. You have to guard her, because no one else seems to be able to. One coach recently admitted, "We didn't even guard her last year when we beat them, and now there's no stopping her." That's the kind of player she is: generational, transformative, and capable of elevating everyone around her. She's not just winning games, she's making her teammates better. Opposing coaches, after witnessing her dominance firsthand, can only shake their heads and say, "I sure am glad she's leaving." The WNBA, before Caitlin Clark, was struggling: low TV ratings, empty arenas, stagnant merchandise sales, and limited financial growth. Now, everything has changed. Her games are must-watch events, and her jersey sales are constantly selling out. Sponsors who once ignored women's basketball are now flooding the league with investment, hoping to capitalize on the unprecedented attention she has generated. Caitlin Clark isn't just another talented player, she's the catalyst for a financial and cultural revolution in the sport. Yet, somehow, despite everything she's done, her salary is still laughably low. If other players are demanding more pay, despite having only a fraction of her impact, then what should Caitlin Clark be making? The WNBA has waited decades for a player like her, someone who could not only elevate the level of play but also transform the league's economic future. She has arrived, and the league will never be the same. The only question left is, when will she be paid what she's actually worth? Caitlin Clark is changing the game, and the future of women's basketball has never looked brighter. Thanks for watching and joining us as we dive into her incredible journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Stay tuned. There's so much more to come as Caitlin Clark continues to light up the WNBA.